Today I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a 2006 Toyota Tundra, and we're going to talk about establishing a baseline for the serviceable components on your Overland rig. Coming up. Yeah! Hi, my name's Drew and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel, we help Overlanders outfit themselves for adventure through doing gear reviews, vehicle modification tutorials, and cooking tasty camp recipes to share around the campfire. One of the most important aspects in looking into whether an Overland vehicle is right for you is going to be its overall reliability. No matter what platform you choose, one of the first tasks you're going to want to do is go over all the components of the vehicle and establish a service record. I refer to this as its baseline service, and it serves to give you a history of your vehicle's maintenance from the point those keys hit your hand forward. Now let's get after what I see as the first and probably one of the most basic services you need to perform on your new Overland rig: changing its engine oil. Typically, when I want to do an oil change, I will start the truck up and let it run for 2 or 3 minutes just to give it some time to warm up so that the oil wants to flow a little bit more freely. Using a 12mm socket, remove the back 2 bolts attaching your skid plate, and using a 13mm socket, loosen and remove the front 3 bolts attaching the skid plate. Careful to not let it slam you in the face. This will give you access to the oil filter canister in the front. Before we take that out, we need to drain the oil through the drain plug located on the bottom side of your oil pan. Now you want to get something that's going to easily catch the oil. I've been using this little catch basin for quite a while, but I recently upgraded one of these units to catch the oil just a little bit easier, and with the ability to close it all up, I can store the oil in here until I'm ready to dispose of it later. I also make off-road vehicle spill kits that I hand out to people occasionally, so I have a whole case of these like absorbent pads, and I usually will lay one of these underneath the truck just in case things get unexpectedly out of hand with the oil. I can throw this down if there's a puddle forming somewhere where I don't want it to be. If you want to see a video to the spill kits that I make, you can check it out up here. Position this under your drain spout. Make sure to remove the little cap so the oil travels into there. And with a 14mm socket, go ahead and loosen up your drain bolt. Always take this time to inspect the bottom of your drain bolt, make sure there's not any metal shavings or anything on it. These things are usually magnetic, I want to say, but I'm not sure if this one is. All right, so what you want to do next is get underneath into your engine compartment here, and just to let that oil drain out a little easier, take off your 710 cap. Just kidding, it's an oil fill cap. That's where we're gonna fill the oil eventually. Now, if you get a catch basin big enough, you can get it so that the oil is draining out just in the corner over there, and you should have a little bit of coverage directly underneath where the filter is for any residual oil that wants to come out of that. Now, the one thing I do like to check before removing the oil filter is to make sure that you got the proper one. It's really easy to get the wrong one, or somebody messing with them at the auto store or whatever it is, putting it in the wrong box. You just kind of want to make sure, match them up, and make sure they're the right oil filter for your truck. This is just a little socket that's ribbed around the edges to go and attach to your oil filter. Hey, and it does not fit that one, but it does fit that one. Let's go ahead and just put our hands around this. Let's see if we can't get it to loosen by itself. If you find yourself in a situation like this, you just got to figure out some way to get enough leverage on this guy to take it off. Sometimes you got to get creative. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is that this gasket that's on your oil filter came off on the oil filter and is not still attached to the surface of where it gets put back on. Now I'm using 5W30 SAE on this. One thing that's always a good idea is just to pre-lubricate the gasket on your oil filter before you go ahead and attach that. Just helps with the sealing process. Thread the new filter on, get it hand tight. You definitely don't want to strip it out. Go ahead and look up for yourself the specs on how tight to get that, because that'll give you a little bit of experience to looking up that information for yourself. All right, so your drain plugs usually have a crush washer of some sort, which is just a washer designed to crush when you torque it down to spec and give you a really good seal on there. I tend to replace these when I do my oil changes. I have a small selection of Dorman crush washers on hand that I usually keep, just a assortment kind of a thing. I will link to a couple different ones online. I will link to the exact correct one that you should use for this drain bolt. I'm just going to match it up to the one that seems to be the same diameter. Call that good. Again, clean up the surface really good. throw your drain bolt in there. I did look up the torque specs for this specific one. I believe it is 29 foot-pounds. Please check that for your own knowledge. All right, now that we got the filter and the drain plug on, we can go ahead and start filling it with oil. The 4.7 liter V8 Toyota engine takes 6.6 quarts. I'm gonna put about another 1.5 quarts in there, making sure I don't overfill it. These big containers have gradations on the back. You can kind of tell about how much you're putting in. Add a little bit less than you think you need, and then just add a little bit at a time to get to the proper reading on your dipstick. I'm looking pretty good right there right now. Make sure you put your oil cap back on. We're gonna fire up the truck, let the truck cycle the engine around for 15 to 20 seconds, turn the truck off, and check it again on the dipstick to make sure we're at the proper level. I'm gonna give it just a second for the engine oil to settle in the bottom so that we get a proper reading. Now, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this or not, but you want your oil towards the top end little knob right there. My oil was just above the lower end, so I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. So I'm just gonna add about a 1/2 quart in there and call it good. Just gonna give one last visual inspection of the oil filter and the drain plug to make sure I'm not leaking any oil. Doesn't look like I am. Now I can get the skid plate bolted back up in place, protecting the bottom end of the radiator. Pretty much good to go. Now I just got to clean up a little bit. From this point, I highly recommend that you start writing down or doing some sort of app or note-based vehicle service log so you can gauge when these services need to be performed again in the future. Tackling some of these maintenance and service items gives you the opportunity to familiarize yourself with your new vehicle's general operating system. Now, this is an at your own risk type of thing. You got to be able to assess if this is a job that you can do on your own. But if it is, it's a great way to build confidence and know some of the systems in your vehicle so that when things do go wrong, you can start to figure out a solution to fix things or get things right and get yourself off the trail. Now, in future videos, I'm definitely going to take you guys along and go through some of the other components and maintenance items that I typically swap out or refresh on a new vehicle when I get it, to know that I have that baseline history started. But today, I hope I encourage you guys to get outside of your comfort zone, attempt some of your own vehicle maintenance, and just have fun doing it and building that confidence level and just building those skills around your vehicle. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about: taking on new challenges, learning new skills, getting out there, having an awesome time, and being able to make it home safe. If you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified of the new videos I put out every week. If you want to put a comment or have any questions, definitely throw them down in the comment section below. I love interacting with you guys, love building out the channel and the community around the channel. If you want a link to any of the products I used in this video, I'll try to link them up in the description section of this video. And if you want to follow me on different platforms, I'm at Evergreen Overland on Instagram, as well as evergreenoverland.com, and you can reach me at evergreenoverland@gmail.com. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.